Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about DML commands. In the previous video, we have talked about our alter, rename, and drop command. Okay. This video, we're going to talk a little bit about what are DML commands. We have basically three DML commands: insert, update, and delete. So in this video, mainly we're going to focus on insert command. Now, why do we use an insert command? So in the previous video, you must have seen that we have created this table employee, right? Now what we have done is we have only created the table. We have not inserted any values into it. Now to insert the values, okay, there are certain commands that we need to use. And for that, we will be using an insert command. Now for those who are seeing the video directly, let me tell you, we have created this employee table and it had certain columns like employee ID, first name, last name, email, age, salary, department, joining date, gender, and manager ID. While creating the table itself, we have made sure that the employee ID has a data type serial. So we don't have to give it will be auto-generated. Okay, while the first name, last name are varchar, even email ID, age is an integer, salary was again an integer, numeric value. Department was varchar, joining date, if not given, by default today's date will be taken, and the gender we have kept it as varchar, and manager ID was integer. So now the most and very important thing that we need to follow over here is we have to insert the value exactly in the same sequence of how we have created the table. Like first value has to be employee ID, second first name, third last name, fourth email ID, and so on. Okay. So what is a command? The command to do that is insert into table name values. Okay. Insert into two keywords. Then we have to write a table name. If you know our table name was EMP, that is we have taken it as EMP and values. Please students remember there is an S. Most of the time you forget this S. You normally write insert into table name value. That is going to give you an error. Anyways, when you use this and when you remove that value thing, it may kind of give you an error. So we'll better stick to S. Now see, as I said, you have to give it in the same sequence. Let's say I am entering one row at a time. In that case, it will start with a bracket. All the attributes that are there should be separated by comma. Let me tell you, whichever are varchar should be written in single quotes. And whatever is integer should not be written in the quotes. This is something very important you should remember. Why default? Because if you remember our employee ID serial, we are not going to give it, and basically we don't even know. You may first enter 50, 60 rows, then you may enter 5, 6 rows, then you may enter few more rows. So it is hard for you to remember which employee ID number are you basically entering now. So we do not enter email ID or employee ID as us. We will do it using default. Okay, so you write default, then first name, let us say is John, last name is Smith, email ID is john@gmail.com, his age is 30, salary is 50,000, his department is HR, his joining date is something this, is a male, and null is what, students? We are right now saying that manager ID may not be there, not necessary, right? And as we have said, it can be null. We have not written not null over here. So yes, very well, I can give the value null to it. So if you run this, okay, the application, okay, fine, just because I have kept it open for a very long time. And yes, we have deleted the employee table in the previous video. So let me just create the table once. Yeah, and now let me insert the value into it. Okay, so now we can see that insert one is shown over here. That means one value has been inserted. Now to see whether, how that value looks, the command that we will be using is select star from table name. So, our table name is EMP. So let us select it and run it. Okay, so here you can see the output that by default one ID is given to it. John is the name, Smith is the name, and okay. And if you remember the manager, as nothing has been given, so yes, null is assigned to the manager. Students, this is one way of inserting the value. Okay, there are multiple ways also. That you will also give the attribute list. Okay, and then you will give the value. This is also one way of doing. Okay, like I will say insert into table name and I will write the list of attributes in sequence. Okay, and then I will say values and then I will insert the value. Okay, so let us try and do that, but I think one of them was unique, so email ID is going to be unique. Okay, fine, we have taken it. Let's try and do this also, students. We have this table now. Okay, let's run it. Yes, the query has run successfully. So now by default there should be two rows, in our table. So let us go to the select star from employee table. Okay, and let us see that yes, we have two rows. Okay, as you know, the name we have said it just has to be not null. It doesn't have to be unique, right? See, first name can be just not null. Email ID had to be unique. Okay, email ID had to be unique, and it was unique. Okay, one was John, one was John dot Smith, and everything. Okay, and this is how we have given the data. So this is another way, of inserting a data. We can also give the attribute list and then. Now, one more last way that I want to discuss with you is it's not necessary that I have to insert the data one by one. I can insert n number of data together. Let me just change the name of the email ID because as it is unique, it may create a problem for me. Now, let us say I have to insert like 4 rows together, or not just four, you can say n rows together. So what is the syntax for doing that? You will again say insert into table name. Again, you will give this attribute names in sequence. I just want you to tell you students, anywhere we have not included employee ID if you remember. Why? Because employee ID is serial, so we don't give the data. Okay, it's auto-generated. That is why which attributes are we going to give? We are going to give first name, last name, email, age, everything other than our employee ID. Okay, and let us now try to run this. We will copy everything. Okay, and we will try to run the. So it is saying that yes, 4 rows have been inserted. If you can see over here, and we can go. Remember this 4 and previous 2. So exactly there should be 6 rows now in our employee table. So now let us see the table. So yes, there are 6 rows in our table right now. Okay. So this is how we can insert the value once the table is created. Okay. One thing that I just wanted to tell you over here is remember the varchar should be in single quote. It is very important. It should be separated with commas. And when you're inserting more than one value, remember there should be a comma when you're inserting the second row. Okay, so you start with a bracket. Okay, your bracket ends over here. Then you have a comma over here. Okay, and then the next bracket starts, and then there is a comma. And at the end, when you put a semicolon, that means you have done. Remember, semicolon always represent end in SQL. Okay, so this is how you can insert n number of values together. Okay, in a table which is existing. Okay, so this was all about our insert command, students. In the next video, we will be talking about other DML commands. Thank you so much.